you ready for this?
You are now listening to Me Gente Podcast, hosted by yours truly.
Hola, mi gente. How you doing? We are back. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us. We are crazy busy. As you can all tell, we have our kids and our families, and we are just really busy going through life with kids and stuff like that. But we're here, and we thank you for sticking with us. Anyways, this is how busy we are. For example, for myself, Caden has started his first flag football league. He did tackle before, but now he's in football, and so we're dealing with that. And it is a little different, but nevertheless, it's still time consuming. So here we are, and yeah,
How does he like it?
he likes it. It's a little bit quicker, you know. So this is his third season in sports. I wasn't even in sports when I was in.
Did he decide to do it, or were you like, hey, let's try this?
No, he always was like a football lover since he was a baby. So we found that little like advertising thing on the street, and it's like, hey, you want to play some football? And yeah, I want to play football.
So how is it for you, because you didn't play sports and now you're a parent whose child plays sports, so you take him to practice and you go to games, and how is that?
Yeah, I don't take him to practice. Claudia takes him to practice because
Of course.
The practice starts around 4. Actually, it starts at 4. So I'm in traffic at 4, so I can't make it. But I do go to the games, and I'm more nervous, I think, than him, because the last thing I want him to do is, 1, get hurt, 2, mess up, and basically that's it, and then obviously lose, of course.
So he's playing tackle, right?
Well, right now it's flag season, so they're doing flag, which is a good experience in my opinion, because he did 2 seasons of football already. I mean, of tackle, sorry, and it's a little bit different. The rules in itself is different, which it makes no sense. But anyways, it's great. I'm one of those parents, and it's really funny because, shout out to Morgan, who watches the podcast. She's like, you know what? I should record you right now because you're acting. I forgot what the word is, but I was yelling. I'm like, come on, Kaden, you better start blocking somebody. Blah, 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 yelling like crazy, and nobody else is really yelling except me. So I try to cheer everybody on, the whole team. They're Steelers. Come on, Steelers.
So okay, so I'm very interested in this topic. So you decided to put him in tackle. That decision, was it an easy decision, or was it a decision that kind of gave you some pause, and did you and Claudia have to talk about it first?
No, just straight up, we're doing this.
There was no concern, head injuries, and none of that. Yeah.
I mean, you can't, you can't get any worse than that. So let's no, there was no. I mean, I think for moms it's different. For guys, it's like, man, I want you to have that experience that I never had. Because I didn't play high school football. Went to a Christian academy. They had a little bit of football, but we moved here and then just never played.
Why didn't you play when you were younger? Like, besides high school, like, was it just your parents didn't want to put you in, or you were just lazy?
No, no, not
lazy.
No, because we observe, the Sabbath,
Sure.
and the games were on
Saturday.
Yeah, and so because of our beliefs, I knew in my heart that I didn't want to go through that, and put my parents through that, and so then I was like, I didn't want to go anyway, so it was an easy kind of decision.
Are the games on Saturday now?
Yeah, no, they're on Sunday.
Oh, cool.
At least Pop Warner is.
Sure.
So that helps so much.
Right.
I mean, back in the day, even Pop Warner was Saturday.
Right.
So if the games were to be on a Saturday,
Yeah. How would you handle that?
Sign him up?
No, we wouldn't have signed him up. Well, no, we wouldn't. I was gonna leave it up to him, but he's too small to make that decision. And people can criticize all they want, like, oh, you should let him. Like, no, I'm raising him, not you. So
yeah.
So, but I mean, and we've taught him that, hey, once you get to high school, you're gonna have to make a decision, and I want you to make that decision. You want to pursue that, and we'll figure something out. But at this point, this is what we believe. This is what the Bible says, and that's it. And he's aware of it. So yeah.
So you probably have a harder time when the time comes in high school if he decides to play and it's on. Okay.
Yeah, and it's going to be a challenge that I know that I'm going to have to face when he turns 14. When he turns 14, I do want him to choose his own path. I don't want to just, but at the same time, it's my responsibility now to teach him what I believe, what I've studied throughout, Bible and all this kind of stuff. And so I want to give him that choice.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
what about, go for it. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, so I was talking to my coworker the other day about this. So what is your guys' opinion on how successful are people that play sports or do activities growing up compared to people that don't, right? Because my coworker was telling me, you're spending all this money on sending your daughter to dance, and is this even going to pay off? Like, I want to see statistics of how successful are people that play sports or do activities compared to others. And I guess you have an example here, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he played sport, he did karate, he did soccer, he did football, and then I did nothing. So I mean, I consider myself successful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he's successful. So it's like, what is you guys' opinion on that?
Go ahead, Maya. I'll let you.
I do believe that sports do have some type of correlation to the success, and it just depends on what you define as success as well, right? To me, it could be success just not getting in gangs, especially in areas where it's a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of gangs, crimes, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously I definitely would rely on sports for students, for even my kids to do, because that's going to keep them busy. That's going to keep them I don't know, just distracted from and away from people that do other stuff that shouldn't. I'm not saying they're not going to come across people that do, but I'm just saying it's going to be different. And I also think that, I know I probably shouldn't say this, but you're a female and Danny's a male, right?
I'm smarter.
No.
Like, just
so you're already successful.
No, yeah, I was already born successful.
She was born successful.
No, but okay. So if you look at like gangs and stuff like that, right? Hay más hombres, mm-hmm. right? So I think, so I think like, not that girls are smarter, but I feel like guys, the percentage or whatever you want to call it of them getting to that temptation, whether it's drugs, gangs, it's higher and with them than females. But then also with females, you have, teen mom, pregnancy, mm-hmm. things like that. So, but I am pro sports all the way. I played sports too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kept me away from boyfriends.
Until you interviewed them.
Yeah, all right. Until you interviewed them.
But those are my 2 cents.
I think there is 2 points that I got from the comment, right? One is you're investing all this money into your child's dance and all this kind of stuff. That's one, right? So I'll address that one first. I don't think that you're doing this for an investment. I think you're doing this because your child loves to do that, right? I mean, I don't think that you need your child to invest into her in a way that you're going to get a lot of gains by the time you're 65 or something. You know what I mean? So uh, whatever you invest, that's up to you. Who it doesn't matter. Number 2, absolutely, sports definitely keeps you away and keeps you occupied to doing other stuff that you probably shouldn't be doing, right? Like, for
Mhm.
example, with their gangs and stuff like that. Here we don't have gangs, but we do have a really, really high percentage of drug usage. And because there's no gangs, but there's a lot of drug usage, and then high pregnancy as well. So I think that keeps you occupied, and not only that, but it keeps your mind just off of things, and it accelerates, and if the juices up here flows. So yeah, absolutely, I'm pro sports. I think that you invest your time and money into your kids because they want to, not because I see a future in them, and you know what I mean, right? I mean, so
Mhm.
yeah.
So there's a lot of I have very strong feelings about this because I did individual sports, which is karate, which in a sense you could have done I did some team aspects to it, but then I did football and I did soccer. But one of the things that above all helped me out a lot, specifically in karate and the other ones too, but I think karate had a lot to do with this, is it taught me a lot of discipline. And the discipline side of it is something where you get taught by your parents, but kids in particular, are not quick to respond to what their parents are telling them. So they almost need to hear it from a third party, another role model as well. How many times have you asked your kids to do something, they don't do it? They just don't listen half the time. They just kind of shove you aside. So having multiple role models that are teaching you that discipline is huge. The other thing that it taught me was accountability. So playing in team sports, you are responsible to play your role. And when you're playing your role, you're responsible for that job, that role. And if you don't do that, you're not only not holding yourself responsible, but you're also letting down your team. You not going to practice, you not being there for your team, all that stuff. It has a lot to do with who I am today, really, because I'm a very team oriented person. I think above all, the other thing that helped me a lot with is dealing with loss, dealing with losing. A lot of people, parents in particular, we want to show the good side of things. So when a kid does something good, you teach them, hey, you did it great, you get rewarded for this. But what happens when, even though you did something great and you don't get rewarded for it because you take a loss? How do you deal with that? We, as parents, I'll speak for ourselves, I don't think we do a good enough job to do that. But to show them that, hey, you're not always going to win, even though you bust your butt and do that, you're not always going to win. And having that, dealing with that losing is huge, especially now, because everyone's going to take an L at some point. So those things alone is worth the investment. It's worth, it's not necessarily, like you said, Caesar, it's not necessarily you putting in all that money so you can get a scholarship out of it, so you can get, and it's shaping your children. I would much rather have her out doing something that she likes with her friends, where it's an organized activity, than for her to be out with her friends in an unorganized activity doing God knows what, or just sitting down in her room.
Mhm.
Now, specifically, she loves it. And I've seen those things in her already, where maybe she's not feeling 100% and her hip hurts. And we're like, hey, just sit this one out. No, I don't want to sit this one out. I want to go. Why do you want to go? Well, because I want to be there with my friends. They need me. I want to be there. And she's 6, she's thinking of someone other than herself. And I think that's huge. As a 6-year-old, that's huge. I'm sure Caden has the same thing. So you can't, it's hard to teach that sometimes as a parent.
Well, yeah, like I agree. There's so many positive things that come out of sports, right? Everything that you mentioned, Danny, of course. There's also the social skills. the social emotional part, right?
Right.
And so having people skills too.
Mhm.
So there's definitely a lot of benefits in any
Right.
sport as long as they're involved, right? And maybe not for those that don't like sports. There's other things, right? Other extracurricular activities,
Clubs,
acting,
community
modeling,
service.
yeah.
Plays.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, so just being busy, I feel like doing something in a organization, positive
Mhm.
one.
Now, I will say that there's negative aspects to it too, specifically because for that hour or 2 hours a week that your child is with another grown person, you have to make sure that that person is also the proper role model.
Oh,
You
for
know,
sure.
you have to make sure that that person is showing them something that you are okay with. And that's kind of the hard part. So I was asked to be coach for her soccer team at one point, and I battled through that quite a bit because I want to witness Arya do sports and everything as a father, not as a coach, because that's two different things. You know, as a coach, I'll be very critical about what she's doing. Sure, I'll bench her if I need to, you know what I mean? But as a father, I'm like, no, put my child in, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, it was one of those things where eventually I did coach the team, and
Then
I'm not,
COVID happened.
yeah, then COVID happened, but I'm not going to lie. I wasn't the biggest fan of being her coach. Two reasons. One is because she didn't listen to me the way she would listen to another person, because I was her dad. I wasn't coach, right? And then the other thing was that I wasn't paying a lot of attention to her because I was paying attention to the other kids. And she felt, especially at the age of 4 at the time, she felt like, oh my God, my dad's paying attention to everyone else except for me. And yeah, I don't think I'd do that again.
Well, my dad was my coach, my soccer coach for a minute, and I hated it. I hated it. I felt the opposite. I felt like I had more pressure than anyone else. Like he was harder on me.
Absolutely.
And every game we would argue. You know, after the game or before the game, I didn't like him telling me what to do.
Yeah, I mean, he was holding you to a higher standard.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So I definitely enjoyed my soccer years when he was just a dad. Yeah.
What about you, Sophie? What's your opinion on it?
In Puerto Rico, we didn't have that many. We don't really have a lot of sports. I don't know. I mean, when I was older, I tried doing the cadets and that didn't work. I don't know. I don't like sports. But I mean, yeah, but I do understand. I mean, like, again, Arya loves it. And like I was telling my coworker the other day, I mean, there's so many things that can happen in your life, and that doesn't shape it does shape who you become, but it's you choose who you become. You know what I mean? Like, you can be involved in sports and you can still be a bad person when you grow up, or you can grow up in a shithole and then still be an amazing person when you grow up. That's the way I see it, right? But I mean, I love that she likes it. You know, I love that she loves it. And as long as she wants to continue doing it, I mean, until Nicholas grows up, and then we can't afford to have them both. And I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because the whole like aspect of what she's doing, she practices really, really hard, and they do really, really good. And the whole dealing with the loss thing is interesting because I saw a story the other day, or I think it was today actually. I saw it. There's like a #1 youth tennis player who's always been good, and I guess he was in a tournament and he lost in the first round, and he's never really dealt with loss. And this kid, you know, they go to shake hands at the end, this kid just slaps the crap out of, you know, the other kid, and everyone's like, what the heck? And a brawl goes out or whatever. And the person kind of telling the story was like, yeah, you know, this is why you show your kids how to lose. And I feel a little bit like that with Arya because I'm like, because they're really good and they're taking home like first place, second place, and all this stuff. I kind of want her to like get that like loss out of the way. But I also think that she's too young. Like, I think she's too young to understand. Like, right now, she's just having fun. We ask her, like, hey, do you feel the pressure? She's like, no, I'm just out there dancing.
Like, you just won first place. Are you excited? And she's like, yeah, I mean, all right. You know, I don't think she really comprehends what competing is.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna just say. I think it's so pure to her.
Yeah.
Like, it's so pure. It's not competing. It's just her doing what she
likes to do with her friends. Yep.
Yeah. That's amazing because she's living this whole competition thing like a breeze, and just it's pure. No whatsoever that is gonna ruin her. Like, for example, Kaden took an L this weekend, and I had to step in as a dad and say, look, son, everybody takes L's. Yeah, it's not fun. It sucks, but you got to own up to that L. You got to, you know, whatever you feel that you didn't do in game time, you go and do it in practice, and you get better and you come back strong. And if you take another L, then you just, you know, L's, you have to take L's, I told him, because first thing we went to Joel's, it was Joel's friend's house when it was, and he got out of the truck and he's like, I don't want anybody to ask me about the game. I'm like, no, come here. Everybody's gonna ask you about the game, and you just have to say, yeah, you know, we lost, but we'll come back stronger next time. And that's where I'm like, no, we got to teach our kids how to lose and not be sore losers. And then, you know, coming back to that slap, oof, was that Will Smith's kid, or was that Will Smith's relative? Because
right. That's just a whole situation. I don't know. Like, that's so uncalled for. Like, in my opinion, that was uncalled for. Like, I get it. You're upset, but the guy laughed at the joke.
His wife laughed.
They all laughed, and then all of a sudden, it's like,
wife laughed after he got slapped. You know, but she didn't really take it.
At first, she rolled her eyes. She was like,
but Will Smith was laughing, and then turned around and saw that, you know, her reaction. And I'm like, I felt really bad.
So this really hits home because you guys know that Will Smith is my boyfriend, and
that's what you look like.
Then you should break up with him.
I mean, I should. He's extremely violent, apparently. But
I would never do that. See, no.
You would never slap a man
for making fun of my alopecia.
So I thought about that, like what setting would be appropriate, because obviously we're not celebrities. What setting?
We're not going to the Oscars.
Yeah, I'm not going to be in the Oscars and wanting to slap someone. So I thought, like, what?
I was still working on my career, you know.
Oh, sorry. Well, us over here, peasants, aren't going to have that that luxury unless Maya invites us one day. So, so I thought, okay, what if it's like an event, like a quinceañera, and or even like a wedding, and someone's giving a toast, and they went up there and they started cracking jokes at my wife's expense. Like, I truly don't think that a switch would have just gone off for me to get up and slap someone. I truly think that I would have, like, looked at her and saw that she was angry and be like, oh, I'll go talk to him later. And then just later on, pull a person aside. It's like, dude, what the heck is the problem? Like, I know you were joking, but that was a little uncalled for, or whatever the case. Maybe you don't know about the situation we got going on. You handle it that way, as opposed to just going out to someone and slapping them.
I mean, I'm sure he didn't slap the guy she had a affair with.
Right? Like 20 affairs with.
Right.
Well, she didn't come to slap me, that's for sure.
But that, I don't know.
Yeah, the little like that I had for him, it's all in the trash. I feel like his apology is unacceptable and not an excuse. Like, his crocodile tears, like, just want to cagarlo.
I still like the guy. I lost a lot of respect for the guy, but I truly dislike Jada now. Like it was one of those things where, like, you know, they had their relationship and everything, but after seeing this, it almost seems like it's a very manipulative relationship.
But he was the one that slapped, not her.
Right.
know,
but I
but
feel like it's
It
because of
yeah. I mean, Jada had so much influence. Okay, so I started reviewing like.
Were you
what-
going like step by step, like pausing?
Well,
Let me see the
okay,
reaction.
Like, how did Will, from being this positive, nice dude and all this kind of stuff,
turn
get
into a
to this-
crying meme?
Right, just got
Mhm.
to that point. And obviously, whatever was going in the bedroom wasn't working between him and her. Right, she had an entanglement, and then obviously he did as well. So I mean, this is a man who's has marital problems, right? And not only marital problems, but like sentimental problems, like emotional problems. I mean, this guy is a mess.
So
Right.
he was belittled by her by basically telling the world that he doesn't even stack up in bed close to what Tupac used to do.
I was just going to say, like, ever since the beginning, ever since you know, if you go back to when Tupac, I feel like he has had, and I think there's some interviews where he said that, you know, he feels like he's never gonna be up to his level there, and he knows Jada had a thing for him for Tupac.
Right. But again, I try to put myself in this situation. I get it. But like, if Jada feels that way, that no man is ever going to stack up to Tupac, then don't go all in on a relationship then, and be upfront with the person and just say, you know what, I don't want a serious relationship. This is it. And maybe that's what they have. And it's Will's.
That's why they have an open
An open relationship. And now it's Will's stupid fault for wanting to do that, because he's clearly not okay with it. You know, if he was okay with it, then he wouldn't be acting out the way that he
Right.
is. So
If-
like,
yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, you, in my opinion, someone like Jada, or actually someone like my wife, like each other, we should lift each other up instead of bringing each other down. And I feel like she's done so much to bring him down and belittle him that has just gotten him to a breaking point. And
went nuts.
And he just snapped.
Mhm.
And here, so I'm bringing it back to our culture. Our culture, como Latinos, Hispanos, what are we known for? Dando carrilla,
Mhm.
right? Y si no aguantas, pues ni modo, you know. And el que se enoja, pues se encuera or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
O sea, and I read a comment, and I won't mention his name, but it really bothered me. And that, nosotros como hispanos no deberíamos de ser así, y que no deberíamos de aceptar la carrilla, y que no sé qué. Look, if you don't have a sense of humor, then I'm sorry, I probably don't want to be by you, because and this is a person coming who claims to be a Christian. But if you're gonna be that way and you have no sense of humor, and don't really want, you know, to be, ay, no me hables así, you know what? I think somebody else has to talk to me about Jesus, because I don't know what to say, because I like to laugh, I like to be made fun of, and I like to give it back. You know what I mean? And if somebody can't take a joke, it was a G.I. Jane joke, for Pete's sake. And apparently Chris Rock didn't even know about the whatever illness that she has, you know.
I know. I was all like, dang, I want to be compared to G.I. Jane. She's a badass, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And then them knowing, you know, it's not the first time that people get made fun of,
I
especially
mean,
at those shows.
in the same Oscar show, Amy Schumer was going off on everybody. Everybody, and no one got up, and she was
Slapped
talking
her.
about people's weight gain, for God's sakes, because she was pregnant, right? I think that's what it was, or something like.
Jennifer, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence, I think it was. But anyway, she's just going off on these people. Like, I think Chris D'Elia, one of the comedians, said it the best, is like, you guys pay us to crack jokes, and then you guys get offended at what we say, then just don't come to the show. Like, you're going to an Oscar show knowing that the hosts are 3 comedians. What do you think is going to happen? At some point, maybe somebody's going to make fun of me. And if you take offense to it, then take offense to it. And it is what it is. But I think it just comes down to you can only control what you can control. You can't control what they're gonna say, and if you could control how you act.
They were doing so well, and then this happened, and then
Yeah.
And it sucks because there's other people that should be, you know, on all the social media for whatever award they got or whatever. They should be praised, but everything on social media is Will Smith.
Yeah. After that, everybody that won, people didn't even care. They're all like, yeah.
Who won Best Picture? I don't know.
Well, it was like
I don't even know what Chris Rock gave.
He gave the award to Questlove, and that's the thing. Like, no one knows that Questlove even won an Oscar. You know, like, yeah. Now he's trivia sentence or answer.
Here's something that I want to really point out in the way that they view marriage. Like, and I don't want to go on a rant here, but if they're portraying marriage as open, and yet he can't even live up to whatever he's calling it open, then just call it friends. But the way we're teaching kids to view marriage this way, to me, it's, and call me old fashioned, or well, I am old, but it's just it bothers me so much, because now I got to teach my kids even harder that marriage is sacred, marriage is important, marriage is this, and then, you know, their favorite actor would be, you know, the guy in Men in Black. Well, how come he has? So I don't know. I think that the view of marriage in itself is something that needs to be worked on. Anyway,
but it has to. Okay, whatever relationship status they have doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it comes to having a mutual respect for each other. Even if it is an open relationship, it comes down to, are you willing to go to bat for me? And it seems like Will, as we can clearly see, is willing to go to bat for Jada because he's willing to get up and slap someone for her, but Jada's not. And it seems like it's one of these things where it's such an offset relationship. Like, if we were ever in a place where, you know, somebody or she's taking offense to someone, I would like to think that I'd step up and say something to that somebody. But then with that same thing, I would like to think that she's going to protect me as well and say, hey, you know, this person, I don't like your tone, or whatever the case may be. But there's a mutual respect there, whether that relationship is open or not. And I just think it's just so offset. I think it's just a one-way relationship. It's just like, he feels maybe that that's her wife, but I don't think she feels the same way.
Well, she was in the movie Offset, so
there you go.
And you know, you guys are talking about their marriage, and that's something that I hadn't thought of. My perception of the whole situation was more of like, one, being a sort, you know, using violence, really, right? Families are watching, kids are watching, and what is he teaching them? He's supposed to be this actor. Kids are looking up to him, right? And that's what he's teaching them, kind of thing. So that was my the way I looked at it more, rather than his marriage. You know, it's more of like, wow, all these people are looking up to you, and you just gave that up.
You were looking more at what the actions were versus what the actions, or like what caused the actions.
But I'm with Danny. I don't like Jada. I don't like Jada.
I mean, I don't like her either, but I'm saying it's not just her fault. He has control over his actions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. He has to be held accountable. But I think that she is just as fault as him, you know, because when he got slapped, I don't know if in her mind she thought, oh, he didn't really slap him, and
or that was staged.
Yeah, you know, or so, because she was laughing when Chris Rock was saying, "I just got slapped the beep beep out of," you know,
right,
and her reaction, you know, so.
Yeah, because I even thought it was staged until he went back and he started yelling.
Right.
Yeah. And started like vibrating, like, you know, like. Don't talk about, you know. You know, it's like, yeah.
I have a feeling that if that were to happen to Claudia and someone said something about her, Caesar would just pile on and be like,
Oh,
yeah.
No, no, le digo que se va. No.
Probably be like,
But
Uber, get up, hello.
yeah, no, I mean,
I would be the one slapping somebody.
Yeah.
what degree, what degree? Like, if somebody like la tortea or whatever, le da una nalgada, like, then yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's way different, to
Mhm.
versus a joke. And I just don't think that having the right to go slap somebody is a given. Is the sense of entitlement of just, oh, I'm just gonna go walk up to you in front of the whole world and just, yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, I feel like this topic's been beaten to death now.
Yeah. Let's move on. Anything else?
So, sports.
Oh yeah, sports. Yeah, sports. But you know what? Back to sports. I think sometimes the kids are having so much fun, and parenting, and the parents become a problem when in
Mhm.
kids sports. And I don't like over here. I don't really know what goes behind the scenes and all that, and I don't want to. I just go there, show up, and whenever we have to volunteer, we volunteer, whatnot. And but I'm pretty sure there's stuff behind the scenes that we don't see. And parents getting angry and all this kind of stuff. But for the most part, everybody here shows support, and not really. Yeah.
There hasn't been anything in the games, like as far as like
A
parent getting
cray-cray.
angry with refs or even with each other or anything.
Right. No, not the 2 seasons that we've been involved. It's been pretty calm. I mean, everybody kind of knows their places. And it's been really good. But I know that in some areas, in some areas of the country, it's not like that. I mean, they take it
Oh,
to heart.
No one gives the coach a hard time for not giving their kid enough playtime.
No, not playing time. No. I think everybody is kind of embarrassed of like, oh, I don't want to talk to the coach and bribe him or do whatever.
Yeah.
Coach knows what he has to do, and would I prefer that my son would play? Well, if he's not up to par, then no. And I'm one of the first to say that. No, I don't want Caden to play if he's not good enough. I want him to develop himself into, being a good player so that he can earn his spot. And I'll leave it up to coach. I don't really, I don't go into that. Yeah.
Were you a referee when we were referees?
No, I was never. I was too embarrassed to do that.
Yeah. So when we were playing soccer and we're probably like middle school or freshman or sophomore year of high school, we got our license to be referees for the youth soccer league in Hayward. And I remember this one time, because referees, they get told off so much, but this one time, the goalie hit the ball out of bounds and I marked my flag, and I said out of bounds, and no one else had touched it, but I messed up and I said the wrong way. And I was over here like 12 years old, and these grown ass men were like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Like going off on me. And I'm just like, oh my God. It was an embarrassment, number one. But number two, it's like, I'm over here holding my flags, like, I don't want to switch it now and be like this way. So I'm like, fuck it, just still going this way. I don't care.
I'm sticking to it.
Was that your last game?
I don't remember.
Dude, that's more embarrassing from your cookie story. I want to
just holding the flag.
You're gonna be traumatized.
Like
Dylan,
parents yelling at me and just me just holding the flag. Like, nope, I know it's going this way.
Even though you knew you messed up.
I knew I messed up, yeah. And they're like, but no one else touched it. I'm like, that way.
I saw somebody touch somebody's toe touching it.
Yeah, somehow I saw something. But yeah, like offsides, you call offsides, and it's just an instinct as a coach or a parent to just tell off the referee when something doesn't go your way. But you got to realize, like, at the time I'm 13, 12 years old, getting yelled at by these people is like, oh man.
But there's always some parents that take it more seriously than others, and
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm that parent.
You're that parent?
Yeah.
Did you referee after that?
I remember refereeing after that, yeah, but it was I didn't referee here when I moved over here, because I moved over here when I was 15. So my last referee was probably like a 14 or right around there. Yeah, it was. Those days were intense just because you make money off of it. You know, you got paid like 15, $20 a game or something like that, which
Yeah.
at the time as a teenager, that's good money. You know, that's not bad. You referee like 3 or 4 games a day, and then that's Saturday, and your Sunday you do it again. And yeah, it was fun. It's just, man, I don't feel bad. I feel very bad for referees. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Especially soccer, man. Soccer, the fan base for soccer is another
yeah.
level. It's another level.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah, no, parents are crazy. I feel like it's very interesting in dance. I never thought that it would be quite as intense as like the other sports, just because it was, I don't know, like I've never been introduced to the dance world, you know, and I've been in the football and the soccer and even baseball to a certain extent, those worlds. And yeah, parents get super intense, but man, dance is just as intense. It's a competitive sport. Like people take it very seriously.
Wow.
How
Yeah,
similar is it to Dance Moms?
very, very similar. I grew up watching Dance Moms. I follow like all the girls' social media. So like Maddie and all of those girls from the actual show Dance Moms. And yes, they are
Intense.
extreme people, yes, to say the least. My first one, I got there and I was by myself with Aria, and I'm like, I got this. And they're all, they started with are you gonna drink? Why aren't you drinking? And then I was like, oh my God, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, lady. And then I was like, no, I'm okay for right now, thank you. And then they're like, well, hi, what's your name? And I was all like, oh, my name's Soti. And they're like, oh, you say that with an accent. And I was like, oh, wow. So then they're like, what do you do? And how old are you? And how old is your daughter? And then I'm like, oh my God, like so many questions.
Because you're the newbie, right?
Yes, I am the newbie, or one of the newbies. And I think I am the newbie, one of the only, yeah. But it's intense. It really is. And it is everything that you see in the TV show. So moms talk about other girls and they talk about other moms. You have to be really, really careful with what you say. And even when you're in like watching them on stage, you have to be really, really careful what you whisper, because you don't know the person that's behind you and what they're gonna take from it, like you can be like, oh my God, look at that girl sucks. And oh, God forbid, the parents behind you, you know what I mean? And like whatever the kids are dancing on stage. So yes, it is. And I mean, I might be that dance mom one day. Whenever Maya comes into the dance mom world, I'm already going to be grandfathered in. And I'm going to be the one like, Maya, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. Let's start drinking, girl.
I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole event, right? Because you're there Saturday, you're there all day.
All
and
day.
And the thing is, like, I don't envy these moms. Like, as a dance dad, I have it easy because like I don't get to go backstage and set these girls up. I don't get to do their hair or their makeup or any of that stuff. I'm literally just there to watch. If anything, might help out with some sets or whatever, but it's not so much of a big deal. And there's not a lot of dance dads. Like most of them don't even go half the time. But I want to go. I want to be there for Ari. I want her to see that I'm supporting her. And so I try to go there as much as possible, but I don't envy the moms because they're dealing with all this stuff. And like, sometimes like these dances are back to back and like they're different costumes. So let's like tear them down and we got to, build them back up. And you're, doing hair, you're doing makeup, you're doing all this stuff. So yeah, I can see how you need a drink at 11 a.m., like it's pretty freaking intense. And on top of that, you have the stress of like, oh my God, if I don't do this correctly, because the moms are being judged too. Like if the hair piece is not right and it's off, they're like, oh,
or if they have a little flyaway.
Nobody says Asoti over there. She doesn't know how to do her shit,
Yes. Oh my God.
So you have that stress with the stress of stuff going on right away. Yeah. I mean, shoot, I feel like I need a drink now.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're making me need a drink.
Danny's
Just
sweating
saying.
You're
now.
over here like, oh man, I'd rather be a referee.
Oh,
Yeah,
I probably need a drink
this one.
after. If I mean, you were young then, but if I were you, I would have gotten a drink.
Yeah.
man, that's
But
intense.
yeah, it's interesting. It's like I said, it's like a competitive sport. You know, people take it seriously, and then I find myself cheering on like Arya and her teammates. And even though she's not dancing, like we have our dance company, our studio,
Mhm.
and so we always cheer on that studio. And I see another studio, and then I don't clap as hard. I'm just like, you know, they did okay, you know. But our studio's like, yeah, you know, even though they wasn't the great, yeah, no problem. So. Yeah.
You know what? The pressure, though, for me, like the way I look is super real in these competitions because all these dance moms are gorgeous. And then, like, I go in there and it's just me. So I'm all like, okay, like before I even get Aria ready for her competition, I have to make sure I'm ready, right? So I look apart and like I have to make sure my makeup, like my hair, so I'm ready because these moms are beautiful. They're all like young and pretty. And so yeah, the pressure is real for Aria and then the pressure is real for me. So yeah. It's yeah.
All the dance moms are nice to me.
Yeah.
I was going to
course.
say, watch out, something.
Of
I was
course.
gonna say, wonder,
Yeah,
Danny,
they're all like, "Oh, your husband's here," and they notice every single time. They're like, "Oh, he came again." Yeah. I'm all
wow.
like, yeah, he's there.
That
You
might
want
be the
him.
reason why I keep going.
Yeah.
Eh.
all the dance moms. All those 30 and 40-year-old dance
I'm
moms.
willing to be a dance dad.
César, like, ¿a dónde me apunto?
¿Dónde? Hey, where do I sign up alien?
Yeah.
I don't know if we got dance over here, but yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know about the sports. Let us know what you guys think, if it's a good idea or not for your kids. How
Mhm.
serious do you take it? And is it are you allowed to slap other people?
Are you team Will or team
Chris.
Team Chris?
Yeah, Team Chris or Team Jada, whatever.
Or team I really don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Or team, what's the new news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kourtney Kardashian got married.
Yeah, Team Kardashian.
Team Kardashian.
It's always good to be on their team. They're always winning.
There you go.
They're
You
always
can
on
never go
top.
wrong with Kardashians, you know.
No, never.
All right, mi gente, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Stay tuned to the next one. Have a good one. Be safe.